Hello and welcome to this, which is a Vocations video about Anna Chaplaincy. I'm now going to hand over to John Bennett, Reverend John Bennett, who is looking after the Fellowship of Vocation for the time being. Over to you, John.
Hi then, Sophie, thanks for that. And welcome also to Sally Rees from Anna Chaplaincy, who Sophie's going to be interviewing in a short while. Yeah, I've been asked by the Bishop to take over the role of FOV, Fellowship of Vocation coordinator from Rob, of course, who has moved away to Yorkshire, I think. And so I'm just sort of starting to get to grips with that. I'm gathering all your emails together and we'll be sending out an email very shortly. So that's my role, and Sophie then is going to be helping me with that role and probably doing more than I do, I suspect. So back to Sophie.
Thanks, John. Thank you. A really, really warm welcome to Sally Rees. Now, Sally, I met you probably just over a year ago now when we began to talk about Anna Chaplaincy. So I've invited Sally here today to talk to us more about Anna Chaplaincy and what it is. So greetings, Sally.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Thank you. So first things first, what is Anna Chaplaincy?
Well, Anna Chaplaincy really is a model of older people's ministry. So whenever you see the Anna Chaplaincy logo, it always says Anna Chaplaincy for older people. And to say it's a particular model of older people's ministry. It started 10 years ago in Alton, when a covenant was made between the Methodist churches and the Anglican churches in Alton to appoint chaplains in their community. And one of them, there were 3 points, one was for a high school and one was for a day centre for people with learning disabilities, I think. But the one that we're interested in was, the other chaplain was for older people in the community, including care home ministry. And Debbie Thrower was that first chaplain to older people in the community. And from the beginnings in 2010, over the years, Anna Chaplaincy has been established as a good, clear, workable model for reaching older people really in the community, and that includes people who are not of church. So totally committed to go to people who want help and care and befriending wherever they are in the community.
There's no particular cut-off age, is there, for this?
Absolutely not.
No.
Anna Chaplains will go to anywhere where there are older people in the community. So in that sense, mostly works outside of the church building. Doesn't mean that you can't continue your pastoral care with the older people in your congregation. But it's really for those who can't get to a church. And Anna Chaplains will go anywhere in the community, say care homes, retirement housing facilities, people in their own homes if they should want, dementia-friendly cafes, knit and natter groups. It's really wherever you find older people in need or in your community. So, and that could be a huge variety. And in fact, Anna Chaplains do work across a huge variety of different locations and different venues.
Thank
you. By cut-off point, I didn't mean higher age. I meant lower age. There's no specific lower age to this.
There isn't a lower age.
No.
We have some people in their 50s in care homes.
Yeah.
All of the retirement housing facilities take people from 55 years of age, and it really depends on much more on dependency than on your physical age. It doesn't actually matter, but what we find as a very general marker is that a lot of people who are between 55 and 75 will be the people who are actually the volunteers. And so, although there's definitely no cutoff for any age, generally speaking, the people who Anna Chaplains minister to and go to are probably over 80. But there's no, it's much more about need than an age.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sally. What's your favourite part about being an Anna Chaplain?
Well, my favourite parts probably are the bits that I'm missing the most at the moment. So the one-to-one where Anna Chaplains walk alongside older people. Sometimes we only manage weeks, but often months and years, and we get to know people very well. As I say, sometimes it's just a matter of calling in because they're isolated and cut off for whatever reason. Usually it's mobility. And it's people who want someone to listen to their story, which gives them, what I say to quite often to people who visit is your most precious gift is time. And to be able to give time where you can listen and value the person's story and the person who they are is wonderful. So I'm really, really missing that at the minute. And we go to people hoping that we will bless them, but generally speaking, they bless us in ways we could never have imagined. As I say, we don't go to people to be blessed, but the ministry is amazingly rewarding. So I'm the one-to-one where we get to know people very well and love them and care for them, you know, dearly. Worshipping with older people, it is absolutely wonderful to be able to worship with people, especially people with dementia who join in very different ways, but it's absolutely glorious. So those, and then the other thing that I really love about Anna Chaplaincy, can I have more than one favourite?
You can, absolutely.
It's just being together and having fun. So an example of that, again, we're not meeting at the moment, but our dementia friendly cafe, we just have fun together. And it's just wonderful being together and as I say, laughing. We have some entertainment, which usually is the object of the laughing, but it's just wonderful just to be together, enjoying something together as human beings. So those probably, it's a wonderful ministry if it's where your heart is.
Thank you, Sally. What is your least favourite part of Anna Chaplaincy?
I'm sure it's the least favourite part for most people of any ministry. It's the admin. It's making sure that everything is done. It's in my role at present. I've got to try and keep tabs on people all across Wales, and as well as my local ministry and the ministry that I do at the diocesan level with the bishop's officer role for older people's ministry. So, and my filing system isn't very good. So it would be the admin. It's all in my head, but having everything written up and all the reports written and making all the phone calls to make things happen at all levels is probably my least favourite bit and something I probably really should have some help with. I'm going to ask for some admin help.
Thanks, Sally. So who can be an Anna Chaplain?
Well, anyone really. You can be lay or ordained. You can be paid or not paid. But the main thing to be an Anna Chaplain is twofold. One is that you have the heart for older people's ministry and that you're called to it. And the other thing is that your local church or churches recognise that, because it's the local churches or organisations, so it could be your parish, your ministry area, it could be your diocese, it could be a group of people, it could be an organisation like Churches Together, for example. But whoever is in your area, they have to recognise that you've got those pastoral gifts and send you, and then support you in prayer. At the very least, the support is in prayer. Hopefully they'll get you a team as well. But so it's for anybody who has that calling.
Thanks, Sally. What training is involved And is there ongoing support for an Anna Chaplain?
There's different kinds of training and there is ongoing support. So the different kinds of training would depend on what you need. Obviously, some people come into Anna Chaplaincy having retired, like myself. So, and I was a nurse, and some people are teachers, and so they may have some gifts already. But there is training, and there's both, and you can mix and match, but it depends on you. But there's obviously, in terms of the church in Wales, there's local training through St Paddens for their pastoral visiting module. So that would be, you know, a start and is available immediately to anybody. There is Anna Chaplaincy training. We are in the throes and almost finished writing an Anna Chaplaincy training manual, which will be taught online, obviously for the time being at least. And that will be up and running in January. There is training at Cliff College in Derbyshire. So there is a weekend once a year, which didn't happen last year, which is an introduction to Anna Chaplaincy, but there's also a week-long course in a certificate for older people's ministry. And then there are odd bits and pieces like me coming and doing a conference or speaking at a meeting, or so, and the different forms of ministry that we can offer are wide. So the Anna Chaplaincy course really is a start. We can then add on for people specific ministry. So for example, I could run something on care home ministry. I could run something on how to be a dementia friendly church. I could run something on how we pray with people. I mean, it just depends on what the needs are, but certainly there is a variety of training that you can tap into, some of which is not costed and some of which is, but none of it is very expensive. In terms of ongoing support, certainly initially it would be me in my role as Anna Chaplain lead for Wales, but my role in that is to develop teams where they are. And although I'm very happy to support and advise, the whole point of me being here is to enable people to get up and do it themselves eventually. But I will walk with you and help as long as I'm needed.
Thank you.
There is a sort of minimum amount of training in order to become an Anna Chaplain, is there, Sally?
There is. You have. Yes, I would think you need to do the Anna Chaplaincy training course. That is based on the Anna Chaplaincy handbook, which Sophie has a copy of, and I think Bishop Joanna has a copy as well. And really, it's making the handbook live. It's putting that into practice.
Yeah.
It's 6 sessions of 1.5 hours. So, but there's some homework in between. There is a reflection and a report to write at the end, which is optional. There's no academic credit with it at present. The only one that has got academic credits is a certificate in older people's ministry. But we have 2 people. The 2 people in Swansea and Brecon have done that, and that's run by the Bible Reading Fellowship Anna Chaplaincy team. So, to be an Anna Chaplain, as I say, the calling is what's the most important. But there are in Anna Chaplaincy, there's something called an Anna Chaplain, and there's something called Anna Friend. The Anna Chaplain is like the team leader. So for our model in Wales, where we've had team ministry, you'd have a team leader and probably pastoral visitors. With Anna Chaplaincy, the Anna Chaplain, apart from the calling, has to commit to 1 day a week. That's the commitment that is asked, because it's a lead role. And then Anna Friends are a bit more like our pastoral visitors, and they can offer anything from an hour a week to an hour a fortnight or an hour a month. But there are other people who would be expected at some point to be able to support the Anna Chaplain as you get teams around whatever groups of older people you have in your area.
How does a person go about becoming an Anna Chaplain? What do they need to do?
Well, I think we're all here. The first thing you can do is talk to your vocations officers. The second thing you can do is to contact me. Although, if you're just sort of browsing, if you like, I would send you to the Anna Chaplaincy website, which has got a lot of information on it. And for either yourselves as vocations officer or as me as Anna Chaplaincy lead, we would then need to go through the Anna Chaplaincy team at the Bible Reading Fellowship. What the reason for that is that although local churches send, or organisations, and support in terms of licensing you for the ministry of Anna Chaplaincy, in terms of being able to use Anna Chaplain, the Bible Reading Fellowship have trademarked it. And so you cannot use that until you have a license to use Anna Chaplain. And then you'll have your own logo. You'll have Anna Chaplin's St. David's, for example, but you make that, you can decide on that. But the reason for the license with the Bible Reading Fellowship is to safeguard the ministry and the vulnerable people who we visit. So the license asked you obviously to protect the trademark, but there's a commitment to the Anna Chaplaincy model. So it is different than a church license for pastoral visiting in your own congregation. It's a, you know, it's an affirmation that there's ministry in the community to do as well.
Who acts then as supervisor? Is it the, in the Anglican context, is it the local vicar, or is it the Anna Chaplain, or both? How does that sort of work, really?
Yes, well, we're just starting in Wales, but the person will need a mentor supervisor for the ministry, but I am there to support in any way. So the two Anna Chaplains that we've just appointed, both of them have got their incumbents as their, although they're both priests, they've got another incumbent who will be their supervisor and mentor.
Yeah.
And my supervisor and mentor for the All Wales role is an archdeacon, my archdeacon here, Archdeacon Alan Jevons, so that you will always be responsible to your local church. So for us, our ministry area diocese and the church in Wales in general. So it's both sides. So the ministry is safeguarded, but so is the local ministry. So it's a team thing, and we're developing it. So we'll see how it develops. But my role in the Wales role is to supervise, advise, train, speak as and when. But we are just starting out. It's wonderful to be official because I've been doing it for about 2 years. But I'm now commissioned. I should have been commissioned in May. So there we are.
Sally, thank you very, very much for your time today. John, do you have any more questions that you'd like to ask Sally before we finish?
No, I think that's fine. No, I've sort of butted in a couple of times, and I don't think there's anything else really. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Sally. Yeah.
I'll send you the slides which just cover the basics.
That's great, thank you. And are you happy for me to put your contact details on the end of the video?
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Put the Anna Chaplaincy one.
Yeah, Sally Rees at Anna Chaplaincy, or Sally.
Yes, I don't Rees. Yeah, I've got it on the handout anyway.
Yeah.
There are a few things we haven't covered, but they are on the information that's coming to you about what the model is.
Yes. Okay.
That's quite important.
Yeah. Do you want to talk more about that now before you go?
Well, as I say, to try and make some distinction between the pastoral care that churches give already and Anna Chaplaincy, I will just run through what makes an Anna Chaplain, what the model looks like. Okay. So first of all, it's in the community in general. Second of all, it's wherever older people are, which I've been through. Thirdly, there is no distinction made between those of faith, no faith, or of a little faith. We Anna Chaplains will go to anybody, or their family or carers, and the Anna Chaplains are committed to being person-centered and non-judgmental. And obviously the whole point of being a chaplain is to provide sensitive spiritual care where we can, where we're invited in. A lot of what we do is really walking alongside people on their spiritual journey. Sometimes that people might be aware of it and sometimes not, but often because you are a chaplain, then people do know that they can ask you those questions about why me, you guy, what happens next.
Yeah.
You know, the questions that come with
Big questions. Yeah.
Yes. So you know, so as I say, it's a little bit different than our pastoral visiting that we're committed to as a church at present. So, and we can do both and. Yes. So, but I say that's on the slide as well, Sophie. So,
okay.
And any further questions, please, I'm very happy to take them, as you know.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Cheers. Brilliant. So a huge thank you to Sally and to John for joining me today.